2024 was a year of exposure. We saw Hollywood started to crumble, and you found out just how desperate people in that industry really needed that industry, because you had heard of celebrities that when those Hollywood strikes were going on, talking about how they're gonna go broke if those strikes don't end soon. We've seen people be threatened to be arrested. Some were arrested. Videotapes came out. A lot of receipts showed themselves. For certain people, we already knew that this stuff was happening. For other people, it's like, oh, really? That person gets down like that? I have no favorite actor, actress, singer, dancer, none of it anymore. I haven't for years. But I love those stories, to use them as an example of societal's wrongdoings and how you can be a better person by learning from a celebrity because they're a public figure. And when you put yourself out there like that, you are a public figure. So it's clear, as Cat Williams said, that 2024 was going to be the year that people start getting exposed. And before I made this video way in advance, so I'm sure plenty of more exposures are coming, okay? Here's what I'm going to say, though. Yes, there are people on YouTube whose whole content is based around exposing someone, and they're making their money doing so. On all of these exposés of famous people, and they put together excellent research. Some of these have such good research that it's like, wow, I didn't know that about that person. But here's my question. Have you ever stopped to think that a lot of what's going on right now is a little too much of a coincidence? Like some of it could be staged accountability and used as a form of distraction to stop you from something. Let me explain what I mean. There's nothing wrong with watching stories because we're in a highly connected society in comparison to like our great grandparents. Because come on, a lot of our grandparents lived to see this world wide web. The great grandparents and great great grandparents, if you had that, did not. See, I think a lot of this stuff is a distraction. Because someone up in some high place somewhere knew that these people were the way that they were. So why is it coming out now? And for me, that's not hard to figure out because I strongly believe that it's coming out now as a distraction. Because while these people are finally being held, in quotations, accountable, inflation is still a thing. People are signing mortgages to houses that they then have to backtrack because there were hidden fees they didn't know about. Going and having a fine dining experience is like pulling teeth now. If you want to buy a car, they're saying, well, get you a used one right now because if you get a new one, it costs too much. See, the problem is as this electric car nonsense take off and they keep pushing that, which I'm not going to get into because I don't know much. I just know enough to know that there's too much fuel in the world to need electric cars. Trust and believe. The cost of a used car is gonna be like getting that rare diamond necklace. That's how they're going to treat it. Moral of the story is the United States is getting expensive. And they're busy entertaining you with an industry that's been dying for a while because it lacks creativity and it pushes sequels, like pushing like a drug dealer peddles drugs on the street, because that's what this is. See, that staged accountability keeps you distracted. Don't get me wrong, I think a lot of these incidences are things that have really happened. But you must question, why are people being held accountable now? When it's been known sometimes for decades that certain things were being hidden. See, the reason this matters to you is because while you're being distracted, you're not building skills. And that skill building is going to be vital to your future. Because that skill building is going to put you in a position where, as the United States continues to become a more expensive country, you can have already built networks, and you could have already substantiated yourself and set yourself up for something good for when things go bad, because everything in this country will continue to get more expensive. Have you started building your skills? What do you think you'd want to do that AI can't replace, or do you want to actually be involved in AI? I know what I'm asking you to do means that you're going to have to make some sacrifices in the short term, some that you're not going to be willing to make. But while you're waiting on it, while you're sitting up waiting on the next thing to entertain you on this internet, the world is changing before your eyes. It's already been reported that Social Security may run out completely by the year 2037. I'm a millennial, and that equals I won't even be able to take from it. Yet they took my paycheck and took that money out every 2 weeks. You see, life isn't fair. And see, lots of you think, oh, that's going to be a good cushion to have when I'm older. And if you're about my age, which by the time of this recording will be 45 years old and under, you could be even 50 and under, I would venture to say. You're going to live in a Social Security-less world, where they'll give you a number and continue to take that money out of your check, but they can't keep up with this aging population because we're not having babies. Why do you think they're letting illegals come in and not fighting it? Because just about everyone in the world, particularly the Western world or the developed world, the rates are dropping. I'm all for you loving celebrities and watching that stuff, if that's what you want to do, so long as you grind and get prepared. Because when inflation goes down, those prices are going to stay where they are, and they're never going to go back to what they were. Be distracted sometimes, because it's human nature and it happens to the best of us. But get disconnected from this online and start building something.